Hello. Hi, this is Glenda with aka GK Fralin, a friendly community. I just did this. It's the back of an invoice, but it's about the same weight and kind of paper because what I did that on is basically it's copy paper. It's just that it might be a little heavier, but it is copy paper, but it's just a large copy paper because I thought when I got my first laser printer that was going to have this big extension so I could copy things this big. It wasn't even wide enough. I don't know what I was thinking, but it's come in handy for keeping kids entertained and all that. It's been around here for ages. So anyway, to experiment on, I just did a bunch of squiggles and lines. So I will tea stain that a little later, and see how it comes out. Now this is more of a newsprint color. So, but it's got a big old fold. Of course, I may have to press whatever I get her do, or even iron it. This would definitely either have to be cut in half or ironed. But it is more like a newsprint. I don't know how acid-free it is, though. It came. This is what is hilarious. I bought. I'm not going to show you the brand but I bought one item, and I haven't tried the item. I'm sure it's wonderful. It's the shipping that it's the way they ship it that gets me, because this is all that was in the box. Okay, this is the box. This is what was in the bottom, and this was in the top. This was covering it. I have no idea how much that is, but it's a lot. Oh, so I might do some other projects sometime. But isn't that nuts? I kind of wonder sometimes if we don't pay half of the shipping just for the packing. Most of the time, it's those airbags, but no, this was just a whole bunch of paper, which sometimes it is. Anyway, I'm not going to get too much, because they managed to get it out of Miami, which was pretty fast compared to what Miami's like right now. So I'm not going to complain too much because I didn't expect to get it for a little while. Anyway, that's that. My grandson stopped over, and he's out with his grandpa right now. Poor kid. He's 15. He'll be 16 in October. And him and his sister both have birthdays the same month. His is, I believe, the 18th, and hers is the 30th. And her birthday's a whole other story from when she was born, which I will tell you some other time. But anyway, where was I going? Oh, his bicycle. He likes the bicycle he's got, and so he keeps fixing it, which demands parts a lot of the time. New parts or whatever. He bought a brake kit, or had his mom buy it over Amazon. It doesn't fit the bike. And so he's trying to figure out what to do, him and his grandpa, because his mom is tired of spending money on this bicycle. She'd rather he just get a new one. Now, how often do kids turn down? It's like when you get used to an old car, I guess, and you just don't want to give it up because it's kind of become your thing. Anyway, I think that's kind of where Brandon is with this bicycle. And so anyway, I think it's a sentimental attachment, or, one of those, I don't know, guys get attached to cars. I've been missing my 63 Ford Galaxy 500 for 40 years or so. So anyway, But, I mean, I liked the shifting on the column. I liked, after I learned how to clutch, I liked being able to use a clutch. But it was getting old, and it wasn't a beater, not by any means. Well, I guess it was it's, how things kind of change in your memory as you go. It must have been getting kind of, the thing's still down in my dad's pasture. I was young, and I was dumb, and I went and I junked the title before I junked the car. So I couldn't sell it to a salvage yard without a title, because they need to have a title, and it would have cost them a lot of money to get a new title on it. So it's down in my dad's pasture for the last 1,800 years. But then, there's a lot of things in that little spot in the pasture. It's just a spot there, and it's got like old hay rakes, and I mean the old kind of hay rakes, and other things. So I don't feel as guilty as I did when that spot wasn't so cluttered. But they use it for parts all the time. I mean, the stuff that's out there, because there's other vehicles, I think. Anyway, they use parts off of there all the time. Hi. Not having good luck? No. He just loves that bike, doesn't he? Anyway, I'm going to go in on the other room and see what's going on there. I know, I want to get back and redo that necklace and maybe do more beads, because I still have a granddaughter whose necklace I have promised, and should make some for others as well. I just haven't got back to it for one reason or another. See you in a bit, and I'm hoping this syncs up. Well, I'm back in the old spot. What'd you think of that interlude? I found that little clip, and it just kind of watch it, and then when I found that music to put to it, it was like, wow. This reminds me of that peaceful place. Everybody talks about that peaceful place they can go to, and that just kind of gives me that little image of a peaceful place to go to. And I just liked that. So, I don't know, you can like it, I hope. But, I might put that on a track for myself, just to play when I want it. Anyway, I was going to tell you earlier about the story around my granddaughter's birthday, being born on the 30th. She was born in Lincoln. Okay. The Girl Scouts and the papers and all up there, they go looking for Halloween babies just like they do all these other babies. Well, so they were there in the hospital on the 31st looking for the Halloween baby. Well, and they thought, well, Tiffany should be the Halloween baby. So the nurses came and asked, and my son-in-law was like, absolutely not. For one thing, I do not want my daughter's picture in the paper. He's protective of his kids, and there's nothing wrong with that. I kind of agree with him on that. But there was another reason. He says, I do not want her growing up thinking she's a Halloween kid. I don't want her to think our birthday is out, all about Halloween. It's kind of like the kid that's born on Christmas Day. I have a nephew born on Christmas Day, and they've been very good about celebrating both. But still, being the Halloween kid, being the Halloween baby, that's, when you're older and you can decide for yourself that you enjoy it being that way, that's one thing. But when you're a kid, I think it was good of him to kind of, protect her a little bit. But, he wasn't trying to be mean to the Girl Scouts. But he was very adamant to the nurse. I do not want this for my child. I don't want that. So anyway, so now she's very much, her birthday's on the 30th. And Halloween is the 31st. They're totally different days. Now we do mix the two kids' birthdays together. That's the other part of the story. We have a lot of times had his birthday and her birthday on the same, celebrated them at the same time. Had a birthday party for them both. Now I think they're starting to separate. They have separated that out more. And the kids are more into doing other things now. Like, I think maybe Tiffany did a skating party or something. I don't know. But, they're probably been doing that for a little while now. But we used to have, they used to have the birthday party, and they would just celebrate them together. And because it makes it more handy for us, and at the time they didn't care, as long as they each got their presents. When they were younger, but once you get in junior high and high school, that's just not cool. But when you get older, then celebrating together is fine again. Anywho. Well, that's it for today. And if you haven't been here before, or if you haven't subscribed before, please do so. If you want to go back and check some of the old vlogs and see what's interesting to you, then please do that. My prayers are out to anybody who's having difficulties right now. I'm glad there are people getting back into their homes in Florida. I know there's a lot of people not getting back home into their homes yet, down especially in the Keys. And I do pray for, there's a lot of people out there who have loved ones that they are still kind of looking for. So anyway, I don't have much time here. But I just want you to know, I really do care. I really love every one of you very much. And, when you've received that agape love, you've got to let it back out. So I'll see you tomorrow. Hasta mañana. Have a good one.